Today we're going to create some spectacular abstract art pieces using Pébéo's Fantasy Special Effects paint on Pébéo's liquid art panels. As you can see here, these two pieces have been created using Fantasy Special Effects paint. I'll point out the paints and we'll get a close-up to see the different effects. In the center here is Pébéo's prism paint that creates a honeycombed effect, and as it continues to move, once you've applied it, the texture and design reticulates and forms all these little bubbles. Around the perimeter is Pébéo's moon paint that has more of a marbled effect that you'll see around the perimeter here. And in between these dark colors are Pébéo's solvent-based glass paint called vitriol. So this has been applied on a level surface by simply pouring the paint. The paint continues to move on its own and create these amazing and unusual designs. So now we're going to show you exactly how we have created this spectacular piece. We're going to move over to our liquid art panel. We were careful to level out the panel in advance of beginning our artwork. We level it out by placing some coins in the corners of the piece if we need to level it out. We want to select a place that we're going to do our art where this piece can rest for about 24 hours so that the paints can do their job. We're going to begin by using one of the colors, and this is a moon color, and it's a prism color. The prism colors are the colors that are going to form a honeycomb effect, and as you watch it, it's going to reticulate and form little bubbles as it continues to form on the piece. Next, we're going to use one of the moon colors, a fantasy moon color, and sand. And this color, again, you want to be very, very sure to mix the colors in advance of applying them, particularly any color that has any of the metallics in it. It might have a little bit of settlement in the bottom, so mix it very, very well before applying it to your piece. The moon color that was just applied is going to have a marbled effect, but as it moves into the prism color, you'll see that together they'll form some striations around the perimeter. Here we're mixing the pearl. Again, be very, very careful to mix all the moon colors. And then we are pouring them quite heavily on the board. The board has a 3mm lip around the perimeter, so it's 3 millimeters deep, and it has a 3mm frame on the edge to contain the colors. It's perfect for almost any liquid color, liquid acrylics, waxes, etc. If you want to use it for anything else, you want to put a primer on it to coincide with that color. Our next color of application is the Vitriol solvent-based glass paint by Pébéo. This is very, very intense in color, and it's going to be applied with a pipette or an eyedropper, and it's going to be applied in little sections and striations throughout the piece, and you'll see that because of the intensity of the color, it's going to create amazing effects when it combines with the moon colors and the prism colors in the fantasy paint line. The most important technique aspect here is to, number one, mix the colors, particularly the moon colors. This is the ebony, but you just want to be sure that, in fact, your board has been leveled, because as you can see, these colors are changing in the short moments that we've begun, and these colors will continue to move for at least an hour, up to several hours. They will continue to move and create interesting textures, designs, striations. They do absolutely amazing things. Often people want to pick up the board and move it on their own. We really don't recommend that. It's really fun to watch it move on its own. Here we're going to add another moon color. The colors are going to be left once we've completed. We want to leave them here for 12 hours, really to dry to the touch. They'll dry in a very hard finish, but just to be sure that your piece is completely dry for moving it, we do recommend 24 hours. 24 hours is a good idea, just to be sure, depending on the humidity of where you are, the temperature in your area, it is going to affect the drying time. Once we complete this piece, we are going to put a glazing resin on it, but we are going to allow it to dry for up to 3 days before adding a glazing resin to the piece. Right now we're adding a little more of the color in Moon next to some of the prism colors, and this is a vermeil next to the ebony, and they're really going to create a beautiful, beautiful effect. You can get spectacular abstract effects here using all of these colors. All of these are by Pébéo, and you can see that really our only tool that we're using is a popsicle stick for stirring and a pipette or an eyedropper for applying it in small, thin areas. Because the piece is level, it's going to slowly move and morph to the edges of the liquid art panel until the entire area has been filled. We have a 12 by 12 panel here that we're filling. Come in several sizes. You can get it either with or without a gessoed finish. All of these colors are opaque in nature. The vitriol glass paint colors are transparent. And as you can see, the transparent vitriol color mixing with the Moon marbled effect and the prism turquoise color here, you're getting some amazing and spectacular effects along here, creating little striations within the color. Again, we're adding an onyx color in the prism line. Prism is the color that will add honeycombed effects, and as it continues over time, you'll notice that within the first minutes of applying this color, these colors will reticulate. Reticulate meaning form repeated patterns of a honeycomb effect. Now that we've almost completely covered the area of our panel, we're going to leave it to dry. Within 12 hours, it'll be dry to the touch. We're going to leave it here for at least 24. It's a good idea to place a tent over it so that dust and debris don't settle in it. If any dust and debris do settle, you can pull it out with a little toothpick. And once it is completely dry, we're going to allow 3 days before we add the Pébéo glazing resin. The glazing resin is a 2-part resin with 1 part of the hardener and 2 parts of the glazing resin. We will mix it. You want to mix it very, very well. You'll mix it in a paper cup with a popsicle stick. And once you've mixed it very, very well, you want to be sure that it's completely transparent. You're going to transfer it over to another cup. Once you've transferred it over to another cup, you're going to mix it very, very well before applying. Again, you'll see that it's very important to level out your piece. The piece that we're now going to add the glazing resin to it has dried for over 3 days. If you look closely, you can see it's got some beautiful textures, striations, designs in it. And we may be compromising the integrity of our leveling here, but we're going to put it back down. Be sure that it's level one more time. Yes, we're level. And you see the importance of it. We're going to apply the glazing resin. The glazing resin is very easy to use. It's been completely mixed very well. It's a self-leveling resin, so if you want to apply this to a piece that doesn't have a lip on it, as our liquid art panel does, it works very well. But you simply apply it, and the resin itself is going to move to the edges on its own over a period of 10 to 15 minutes. And we've pre-measured the amount that we needed to use. So if we want to use the popsicle stick to spread it to the edges, that's fine. But this will dry to the touch in as fast as 6 hours, but you're going to want to leave it for 12 before moving it. And again, the longer you can leave it, the better. So if you can allow this to dry in an area, again, with a tent over it to keep it from getting any debris in it, that's a good idea. And the longer, the better. Here we're adding a little more, and you can see that it will level out to a nice even finish, filling in all of those bubbled areas until we get it to the corners and to the edges, and then we'll have a nice hard piece, a finished piece that you can see as we have. Once it's completed, we'll have a nice hard finish that you can knock. You can see it's very hard, it's very firm. You get a beautiful art piece, and as simple as that, you have created a spectacular and amazing abstract art piece using Pébéo's Fantasy specialty paints and Vitrail glass paint on the liquid art panels. Thank you and have a great time.